Okay. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another live stream. I've got some really interesting things to share with you today. Let me give me a few minutes to get everything set up here for this live stream. And I've got a guest coming on. Lofus Crypto should be here any minute now. He's running a little bit late, but he's going to go over the macro picture with us. But today, what I really wanted to talk about was what's going to happen to Cardano when the new lending Dapps start coming online one after another in a chain reaction, in a chain series of events. I've got some insights to share with you about some things that have happened in the past. Now, that's causation is not correlation. This is correlation. But from an example that I'm going to show you, it's going to give you a good idea of what's about to happen in the Cardano ecosystem. So just give me a few minutes to get set up here, and then we'll get started. So I want to just prepare my screen, and hopefully Lofus shows up here any second now. And maybe we get a few more people on this stream. So I'm just waiting for some people to show up, and then we'll get started. So let me just reiterate what I'm about to get into with you guys. So I've got several different things that I want to cover. Actually, a few ideas and insights that you probably haven't heard before. And we're going to go over a few protocols that I'm interested in, that I'm keeping an eye on, that I think are going to do very, very well. And I think you should pay attention to them as well. So I'll share those Dapps with you that are coming out that I'm really interested in. And we'll go over, like I said, the macro picture, what's going on with the Dixie, what's going on with the S&P and the NASDAQ, gold, oil, silver, crypto, altcoins, everything. So actually, why don't I share my screen with you, and we'll just get started now, because I think there's already a few people on this stream. So let's open this up. And, my style is I don't really plan anything. I just kind of go off the cuff. So if I make a mistake, whatever, I'm not taking this very seriously. It actually makes things a lot more fun, interesting that way. So prepare to see me make some mistakes. There you go. All right, let me share my screen with you guys, and then we'll get into it. All right, so a couple announcements before we get started. If you're not following me, make sure you follow me on YouTube, The Cardano Guy, Twitter, The Cardano Guy, Mustafa The Cardano Guy, at Mustafa Coin. So I got a couple different things going on here. So I've got the Cardano Guy and I've got Mustafa Coin. Cardano Guy is like the cardanoguy.com brand, basically. So make sure you follow me there, because I post different things. I post Lofus has entered the room, so let me let him in. Let me see if he hey. Okay, he's still coming in.
Hello, I'm here.
Okay, there you are. All right, good. I need my co-host, man.
I am here.
So I'm just going through some announcements here. So as
Awesome.
I was saying to everybody, just make sure you're following Lofus Crypto and me on Twitter, because we're posting stuff on there all the time. On-chain analytics, we talk about macro stuff, and we talk about stuff that's going on in the ecosystem. And we're usually pretty on top of it. We usually post really early on when things happen, so we catch news pretty early. All right, so another announcement. I just dropped some merch on Amazon. So head on over to my profile, check out some of the merch that I have. I've got a bunch of designs coming out that are not out yet, but this is like the first iteration of it. And I'm also looking for some feedback. So if you guys want some different kinds of designs, different colors, things like that, be sure to comment on my page and let me know. All right, so that's the main announcement that I wanted to cover. The next thing I was going to say is I'm writing some deep reports, and I'm giving them away for free. You can get 3 of my PDF reports for free on me at thecardanoguy.com. just enter your email address and sign up. And my last report was like 60 pages long, and it goes into depth on some of the Charles Hoskinson speeches. And I also highlight them and I summarize them for you as well, so you can really go in depth on the content that IOHK and Charles Hoskinson are doing. So at the beginning of this, I said that I was going to tell you guys about what I think is going to happen for Cardano when all these new lending protocols come out. And the insight that I'm going to share with you guys is, take a look at this. This is the Ethereum price chart pre-Avi and pre-MakerDAO lending, and post-Avi and post-MakerDAO. Okay, so Avi and MakerDAO are like one of the first, probably the first two DeFi protocols, and I think Avi was the first one to offer lending on Ethereum. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they both happened to be around January of 2020. That's when they both came out. Hey, Lofus, you follow me so far?
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
All right, so check this out.
Okay.
Tell me if you disagree with me on this, because that's what I'd prefer to debate than to just be talking. That's why I like having a co-host. I don't want to be just talking myself, like monologue here. I'm not the best at doing these monologues. Like Charles Hoskinson is the king of monologues, but
I think you're doing fine.
Yeah. So anyway, where I was going was this: what happened before and what happened after. So before, we were pretty much in a lull, for basically 6 months, a year even, where Ethereum was hovering between $250 per ETH and 100, and then there, right around January 2020, when they came out with lending and DeFi for the first time, there was this quick spike up to $280 from went from about 150 to $250. What would you say that is percentage wise, Lofus? Like 80% or something? Not quite a double, but almost.
Right. I'm following.
Yeah. Not quite a double, but almost. So Ethereum, just from that alone, pretty much in a couple of months, almost doubled. But then there was the COVID crash, right? The COVID 2020 crash. What happened after that, right? Because the Bitcoin halving happened kind of way back here, right? Like in late 2019, I believe it was. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was. But anyway, what happened was, after that, it shot up to $1,250, so a 10x basically. But what was the catalyst? It didn't really it started moving up right after lending happened, and that's also when I believe some of the stable coins started coming on as well. This is the exact same scenario that Cardano is in right now. We're in the same position right now. Okay, we've been in a lull for like the last year basically. Right, we've been going flat for like a year, and what's about to happen is we're about to have lending and borrowing on Cardano, and it's not just going to be one or two protocols. We've got like 25 different DeFi apps and Dapps that are going to have some kind of utility that's going to take advantage of Cardano smart contract. Now let's take a look at another cool insight that I found, because this is not the only thing. This is the Ethereum market cap. Okay, the Ethereum market cap from basically all time, right? Now, the 2017 to 2018 sort of bull market is marked by this little hump right here. It looks really small, but it's actually a pretty significant jump in price, in market cap, where Ethereum was at $20 billion. Okay, and at the blow off top, Ethereum was at over was that 20 billion? Yeah, 20 billion to 136 billion. Is that am I reading that right, Lofus? 136 billion, almost 137.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
136. Yeah.
So how much of a, so it went from 20 to 100
like a 7x maybe.
Right. Okay. Cardano's market cap today, guys, and
26.
it's 26 billion. We're right exactly where Ethereum was. Okay. Exactly where Ethereum was right before the 2018 blow off top. So there's all these different sort of historical events that rhyme with what's actually happening right now in terms of the sort of the economics of crypto and Cardano and sort of the events that are about to occur. Not only that, okay, we have 25 dexes that are waiting to implement DJED. I don't know how to pronounce it. JED. What would you say, Lofus? How you?
I go with Jed.
JED. Yeah, it's a little easier, right? So JED is about to come out. We have 25 dexes that are about to come out, and they're going to utilize JED for liquidity. Okay. UST as an example. This is from Sanchit on Twitter. Okay. He's I'm just quoting him. UST is $18.5 billion market cap for reference. Okay. So I don't know. What would you guess is going to be the market cap of JED when it comes out, Lofus? You want to take a shot in the dark here? Maybe we can go like over under or something, make a bet.
Market cap. What is it today?
Well, we don't really have them. Well, UST. Let's look at UST's market cap today. Okay, so this is Cardano's market cap, where we're at 26 billion. We're actually almost at 100. We almost touch 100 billion. So it wouldn't be a surprise to me for us to go from 26 billion to 100 billion, because Ethereum did it. So Cardano can very well do that. Now let's
that would be nothing, right? I mean, if at a 70, whatever we at now, right now, 78 cents to go to what, like a $4?
Yeah, it would be $4, which is what we talked about the other day in our other previous live stream. We said like it's going to be something like $4, $4 to $8. And I was like, $4 is conservative, $6 would be ideal, and $8 would be kind of like ridiculous.
I think that's very feasible.
Right. So UST's market cap today is 18.5 billion, approximately 18.6 billion, right? 18.7 billion. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if Cardano, if JED gets a market cap of even a 10% of that, okay, it's 1.8 billion. Half of it would be 6 billion or 9 billion, right?
Right. Okay.
And so that's just going to be liquid. That's just going to be liquidity. That's going to be probably just from the Cardano ecosystem. Now imagine when liquidity starts flowing in from outside, and it's just going to keep coming.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look up what's the market cap of Coty right now.
Yeah, and I can tell you right now, actually, just from looking at it here, it's probably not. It's 200 million. So so for it to go from 200 million to even a billion, that's like a 5x. Okay, and then 18 billion from there would be a 20x from there. So that's like we're looking at like almost is that 100x for Coty to go to like a 20 billion market cap?
I think how much did you say?
It's 200 million right now.
And then what is the you said it will go, what's the potential market cap you're calling?
If it goes to what UST, okay, so UST is not Terra, right? Because UST it's just a stable coin, but Terra is the entire protocol, right? Which is kind of comparable to Cardano right now. But Coty is the issuer of JED.
Right.
It's not necessarily going to be the entire. I don't know if Coty has the capability of basically being an independent. It probably does have the capability of being an independent chain, but even if it just did a 10x, okay, it's not far. It's like 2 billion would be 10x would be 2 billion. Okay, so you'd be looking at a $1 almost a $2 Coty.
I think a 10x is quite feasible,
Yeah.
if not even more. I mean, so that would make the market cap 2 billion at 10x, right?
Yeah.
So if I was to look at that today, a 2 billion market cap would take it roughly, like today, let's see, Tesla's, right? Tesla's is 2.2 billion today.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in 43rd place. Now, here's the thing, right? Like the tide, what is it? What is the English expression? The tide lifts all boats, right? So of course, if we get back into the bull run, then this whole, the entire crypto market is going to start climbing. So it's not, but I do believe that Coty is very well positioned to get disproportionate, like a positively disproportionate amount of appreciation. But just to let you know, right? So right now, Aave is is a little bit short of $2 billion in market cap.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, and they're not even a stablecoin issuer. They're just the DApp.
So I really believe that I really believe that Coty's future is going to depend on what place it takes in the stablecoins. So let's look at the stablecoins right now. Look at their market cap, right? So let's see who's the.
So we looked at UST.
So DAI is at 8.7 billion, right? DAI is 8.7.
So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, it's
what do we have here? We got USDC's 49.
USDT. It's the, it's
83, 60. What is that? 83.
83 for USDT, and then USDC is going to be a little bit behind that. So you're looking at 49 billion for that. And this in the world of stable coins, I don't think JED is going to be okay. So the potential for it is, of course, it's pretty significant. It's going to take a piece of that pie. Okay, because if you total it all up, right, you have what's the total of all these, right? So you have 83 billion, and then you have 49 billion. Let's round up. Okay, let's say 150 billion for between the top two, and then you have UST, which is almost 20 billion. So let's say 170 billion, and then DAI, which is going to be another, let's add to 10, let's say 180 billion. So 180 billion dollars in crypto is locked into stable coins, 180 billion. So let's say JED takes a piece of that pie. That's a pretty big pie to take from. Okay,
Absolutely.
So even if it takes 5%, 10%, okay, of let's round it up to 200 billion even, right? 5%, 10%, that's 20 billion. Okay. 10 billion, 20 billion. We're talking in the pretty big numbers. And that's just from existing market share. Okay. Now when crypto actually starts going up again, that number is going to go up even higher. So just kind of getting a feel for things, looking at these numbers kind of gives you an idea of the potential of what's to come.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, I really appreciate Coty. I actually have been buying the dip at these prices. If you'd be, not financial advice. Yes, I'm learning that more and more how to say it. But at these prices, you'd be silly not to buy some. To me, it's
I like what. I think you're onto something here. I'm also a Coty investor. Full disclosure. I like what Dan from Digital Asset News says. This is not financial advice. This is financial opinion. So yeah, everybody knows that by now. I think.
You know what? We'll do that from now on. I'll just be. This is my opinion.
I always say that. I was like,
this is my opinion only.
Yeah, this is my opinion. This is my YouTube channel. This is my Twitter account, and all of it is my opinion. And if you like it, great. If you don't like it, you can go pound sand.
Yeah, so no, I mean, for me, Algo is a good one. I like Coty, Cardano, of course, Bitcoin.
So
I don't know how you could go wrong. And then and you see that there's a little bit of respect, right? What I really appreciate with Algo is that there's a little bit of respect here, I think, between Charles and Silvio, right, the founder of Algo. Algo. So that makes me believe that there'll be some opportunities where, there could be some opportunity. There may be more cross collaboration than what is being discussed. And if there is, I think that's just going to be a win-win, truly. Right. I think Algo has achieved already. Perhaps it's, maybe it has been formalized. They have their ISO 222. Right. They earned the ISO 222. What is that word? Not categorization, but the word escapes me now in English. But feather in the cap, right? So they have that along with a few other coins. So I think that's a tremendous win, which means that they get their ticket into a certain club, right? So I think that's great, and the more you can be in that club, I think it just solidifies your future.
Yeah, I think they're being eyed up by, probably the federal government in the United States has them probably in their sights for the the US coin. As creepy as it sounds, like that they're going to be spying on us through these kinds of things. Good for Algo for building something that is, potentially good enough for a central bank digital currency. And the thing about Cardano, which is what I like the most, is its interoperability. I was watching the Cardano 360, and I was writing my Cardano 360 monthly report that goes out to my subscribers. And the director of engineering at Wanchain, he put it together really well. He said that the internet, when it first came out, used to be like all these different networks that were sort of siloed independently all over the place, and they wouldn't communicate with each other. They were just different computer networks all spread out. But then the internet really happened when all these networks started to be able to communicate with each other. And Cardano is sort of that network, that chain that is being built based on the concept of having this sort of interoperable world. And it wasn't until that network effect happened with the internet that all this innovation started happening, where we started getting things like social media and Dropbox and having cloud computing and all this stuff. It wouldn't have ever happened had we not been able to connect disparate networks together. And that's what Cardano is trying to do, is trying to connect itself to all the other networks and have that cross compatibility. And I think that's probably one of the most, if not the most important thing, to have a sustainable blockchain for the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely, because there's no way that one chain is going to own the whole world, right? No. There's going to be some products there'll be some products or dApps that will be available here that you'll like. There'll be some other ones there, and then especially as young people will evolve through their life, right? Maybe they will start out on the more, a certain blockchain or dApp or ecosystem that's for, suitable for them, right? Like call that like a metaverse or gaming or whatever. Mm-hmm. Right. But then at that point, okay, so once they're in school, well, what will happen, right? Maybe they're going to go and apply for some loans. I know there's a dApp right now, that's talking about student loans, and then they're going to go and life hits them, then insurance and banking and DeFi and everything else, right? Then they buy a house. Okay, then what I mean. So it's going to be very, very so I don't understand these maxis, right? I mean, I think you either like the technology and you're like, all right, this technology is solid. What they're trying to do is good. I know that I can trust it. I know that my data, I have more control over it. It's either that or it's you look at the white paper and you're like, oh yeah. This is the marketing is better than what's in this white paper, right? The perception, and then that's it. Don't come to me with this max like this is the only one that's going to win. That doesn't work. I'm going to make this PG. Not use certain words, but yeah.
So I wanted to get into a few of the different protocols that are going to really bring a lot of utility to Cardano. So the first one is ADA Finance, AADA. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I call it ADA Finance.
Bond as NFT. Cardano, we all talked about that.
Yeah, so this is one of the most interesting ones, and I brought up the light paper here because it really gives you a quick overview of what the power of this is going to be. So you're going to be able to deposit ADA and receive interest directly through their liquidity pool. But even more interesting than that, because a lot of people, you can, of course, there's, farming and all this stuff, which is old news, but this is what's really innovative here. You're going to be able to actually issue and trade bonds. Okay, this has never been done before. Actually, maybe it's been done, but not in this way. I haven't seen it done in this way. You'll be able to actually deposit money, receive a bond for that money. Okay, you can sell that bond, right? If it, for whatever, the dynamics of bond trading, and then you can actually liquidate that bond back to ADA, and it doesn't have to be the same person. It could be different people doing it. So bonds will be issued on the ADA network, the Cardano blockchain, which is pretty remarkable if you ask me. What do you think about that?
I mean, this is what's going to be, right? I mean, this is probably one of the first, it's a more realistic and much more valuable and, use case for NFTs that I'm seeing, right? I'm not sure you and I talked about, but, I'm also looking forward to IPs, anything that, anything that's royalty based coming on board as an NFT, right? Those are the real use cases I'm waiting for. And I think that's what's really going to bring in, the bigger bucks, right? I'm not discounting JPEG-based NFTs, and maybe if we have time, you can explain to me what's up with the board apes and what gives it value. But I'm really looking forward to these kind of things.
Yeah, well, the board apes are more like a kind of a meme thing where it's like people are buying it because it's cool. It's got social value. It's like social capital. It gives you access to some exclusive clubs. But I'm starting to see some people kind of get away from that. I think the Bored Ape Yacht Club is starting to lose a little bit of its luster. I've seen some pretty bad press on it over the last couple of days with their meltdown of an issuance that they've had. They had a problem. People were trying to mint something, and people were losing thousands of dollars with failed transactions on the Ethereum network. And then they came back and they said, "Oh, we're going to redo it again on our own chain." And like people didn't like that. People thought they were being scammed. So now they're coming back and trying to refund people with um the money that they lost on their mint. And it's like a mess. But I don't know if that's going to put a dent in their sort of credibility, or if it's going to be something that's going to be forgotten about in the future. But it's definitely not a pleasant experience, to be losing thousands of dollars on failed transactions and having no hope of getting that back. Maybe there is some hope of getting it back for them, but at this, if it wasn't for like Bored Ape coming out and saying that they're going to issue refunds, they would have lost that money forever. But that's the game you're playing, right? High risk. But I like the idea of having these NFT bonds. That's really interesting to me. There's another protocol I'm going to share with you in a second that you can do something similar to this. But this is sort of a very innovative idea that I think is going to bring a lot of new people to Cardano. ADA Finance Testnet launches next week, and they're going to announce that very day sometime later this week. So I'll be posting that on my Twitter. Make sure you follow me to get notifications and updates on that. This is a very interesting project that I'll be following. Also, another interesting project that I want to bring up was Genius Yield. I've been monitoring them, been watching them for a while. What caught my attention on this one actually was the Dr. Lars Brunges. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. How would you pronounce his name, Lofas? Brunges?
Brunjes, I
Brunjes.
think.
There you go. Brunjes.
I mean, it's the those, the umlaut on the U makes it U.
Ooh.
I think it's Brun. Now, where I'm getting confused is the JES.
Yeah.
Is it the German way? Is it Scandinavian, or is it, could even be Flemish? I don't know, but yeah.
So
just put an U there and you'll be fine.
yeah. Well, I wanted to point it out because he's been on the Cardano team from the beginning. So they've got some really powerful brain power here. on this team. And some of the ideas that I've been seeing on their website have been very innovative, and they seem to really understand the whole sphere of not just launching a DApp, but also they have a launch pad as well, which is really interesting. So there's quite a lot there. I pulled up the white paper. The white paper is very sophisticated. It's technical. So it's a legit project. It's not just, I don't know, BS like a lot of the other stuff that's out there where they just kind of give you like just like one page. They're really taking advantage of Cardano's technology. And I think it's because, like I said, the team is very smart and they've been on the ground levels of building Cardano. Basically, the people that built Cardano are the people that are building Genius Yield. So this is the kind of project that I'm interested in, ones that are really taking advantage of the full capabilities of Cardano, which a lot of people unfortunately don't know how to do yet because it's very, very sophisticated, but it's also very, very advanced and capable of, it's good enough for, if a country wants to launch a CBDC, the correctness of Cardano will allow them to be able to do that reliably. So that's what I like about it. But worth checking into Genius Yield because, yes, I think their name has something to do with their level of intelligence and how well they build stuff. There's also some features on there that I haven't seen in other places before. So, check out Genius Yield. And I think there's an announcement here that's their sale model just came out. So be worth checking into if you want to get early on the sales. I actually am not invested in this, but it's something that I'm looking into right now.
I think it'll be very interesting to see how many more great products are going to come out of this UTXO alliance, right? Because I just think, just from the whenever this whole EU TXO comes up or anything related, you can see that that's where you have a little bit of this maxi feeling where everyone just doesn't appreciate it. Maybe they don't even understand it. I mean, I think even we're finding out that even Masari, right, they don't understand it because if you know, right, on that on-chain activity metric that they have, right, they measure the transaction volume in the last 24 hours, and I guess they tried to do an apples to apples comparison by having like the adjusted volume, right, the adjusted transaction volume, where they trying to equate it to like Ethereum and everything else, and even there, you could see that some people who perhaps have more insights into it or better way of calculating, they don't agree with those things. So when I see that, right, I'm like, okay, so we're still very early.
Yeah.
But I'm never gonna go against Satoshi. I think Satoshi and his group that created Bitcoin, I think they did things right. Right. So I think that's where I'm just going, okay, if I had to put my money on right now, it would be on UTXO as the future standard. Right. And you see that in the institution money as well, right? There's been so many alternatives and so many Bitcoin killers and this and that. But, I've not heard any other government, central bank, declare anything else as a legal tender in the crypto world other than Bitcoin. There must be a reason.
Yeah. Hoskinson really put it the right way where he said that Satoshi knew what he was doing when he created the Bitcoin white paper and created, the protocol. And he just didn't have the time to really flesh things out. And that's why Cardano is doing the way that it's doing, because it's really just taking Satoshi's vision and it's taking it to where it should have gone or would have gone had Satoshi stayed around.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. So I think there's, this is definitely one thing to follow.
Yeah. So here's an announcement from Shahaf Bar-Geffen. He's the CEO at Coty, saying that the JED is just, it's basically, the testnet's just basically almost here. Literally working on the final tweaks as I write these lines, he says, to launch the public testnet. And then what's nice about Cardano is that once you have something on public testnet, it's not very difficult to move it over to mainnet. It's pretty much just a click of a button and switches it over, but there needs to be a little bit of time to make sure that bugs don't crop up and that everything works well. Reminds me, if you remember how the Sunday swap testnet was, the process was extremely smooth, seamless, and it was like you went to sleep one day, the next day you woke up and everything was on mainnet. So that's how it's going to go. So that's how quickly things move once they actually get on. The next protocol I wanted to share with guys is Pond. This is an interesting one. It's similar to what I showed you with Ada Finance, but this is more like peer-to-peer lending. I shared this post the other day. You know, you can just anyone could go on there and put up their NFT as collateral and just borrow money. I mean, um, I was looking at some of the examples on there, but he wrote that someone lent him 1900 ADA for 5 weeks at six. You know, it's oh he borrowed 1900 ADA, yeah, at 6% for 5 weeks. That's a good deal, you know, just for putting up one of your NFTs. And if you don't pay it back, you just lose your NFT, right? So it's really interesting. They do require you to buy one of their NFTs in order to participate. But then if you have a bunch of ADA sitting around, you want to earn 6% in 5 weeks, you know, you can do that pretty easily. I don't think there's no other, like if I have money in the bank, nobody's gonna, you know, like I can do like a verbal agreement with someone like, hey, you got to pay me back in 5 weeks. It's good luck getting that money and calculating it, and you know, like doing things on terms and everything like that. Like good luck dealing with another person, like you know, in the real world. Like I like having some sort of protocol to be able to mitigate all that. I don't have to ask them for money. It's just like it's either I get the money or I get the collateral, right? So it's really interesting. You can enter loans into this through this protocol called Lending Pond. So it's one that I'm looking into as well because I've got a bunch of ADA that I'm just sitting around and I'd love to loan it out. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for what I wanted to talk about today. Now, I did mention that I was going to allow Low Fuss to tell us a little bit, answer some questions for us about what's going on in the macro world. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here now, and I'm going to hand over to Mike to my friend Low Fuss.
All right. Well, what a day. What a day. This I can tell you. So if you don't mind,
Oh, I got you.
yeah, allow me to share.
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. What a day. I mean, today was a little bit busy, so busier, so I didn't get a full chance to go into as much detail. So I looked a little bit. I just looked at the S&P 500, right? I mean, we did dip, right? Just today. Just let's see, was that today? Yeah, today we did dip, below my 4150 line here. So that didn't really make me feel overly comfortable, but then we did come back, right? So I think as long as we can hold this 4150, which is a little bit of a resistance line here, right? As you can see, right? It was playing around here, and then previously it didn't really go that much below. You know, as long as we can hold it, I think even a crypto market should hold up. Overall, a couple of stocks did decently, right, today. Thankfully, VIX dipped a little bit, the volatility index, because it was almost approaching. I don't want it to go over 40. I really don't want it to go over 40. Mm-hmm. And I think it'd be nice if it doesn't go over 40.
Well, remember, there's the we've got a few things. We've got a few events coming up. We've got the FOMC meeting on Wednesday.
Correct.
And that's I think that's gonna set up the rest of the week,
which will be very interesting, right? Which will be very interesting because look at the dollar.
Yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts on what do you think is going to transpire, before and after.
And that's the interesting thing, right? Because I mean, on the weekly chart, the dollar is definitely overbought, right? I mean, it's definitely up there, as you can see. So we'll have to see what that, where does that, let me see, where is it right now? Okay, so it's like 80.
Yeah,
right?
so.
But it put in an all-time high earlier today, right? It almost went over 104, right? It's almost there, right? Remember we told, I think my range is more in the 104 to 106 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the Bollinger Band, it's definitely outside of the Bollinger Band. You know, when you look at how far away, like how extended it is from the, you know, this moving average, right? I mean, it's five, you know, what is that, like 5% over? Yeah. So we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Ruble, Jesus, I can't believe the ruble is right now below its average. That's almost like let's do a 3-year average. The 3-year average is like, what is that? Like one, yeah, 3-year average is like 72 and it's at 70.6.
Mm-hmm. It looks
Gold,
like it's
silver
actually
didn't do
increased.
well.
It looks like it's actually starting to pump against the US dollar.
Well, actually, yeah, I mean, this is actually, it's appreciating versus dollar.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like it's starting to go up against the USD and
Yeah, it could, I mean, it could be, right? It could go into this, you know, it could get in here, right? It could go a little bit more and then it'll eventually, maybe as the, you know, who knows, maybe as the dollars, if the dollar starts crashing, then maybe the ruble starts appreciating. I don't know what's
what
going
happened
to,
to
maybe
gold
that's going
today?
to start depreciating.
I saw gold took a little bit of a dump today, huh?
Yep. Gold is not faring well. Neither, neither is silver, right? So once again, Peter Schiff and the silver boys must be. Copper, right? Copper didn't do really well. Lumber, I mean, it's below the moving average, but at least it's not. US,
It's like everything's down. Like where do you go? Like there's nowhere to run.
the only thing is, right, the dollar put in, right? The dollar put in an all-time high, almost at
Yeah,
104,
I guess
and
having
it, and it,
dollars.
and yeah, and a 10-year yield. Look at
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
right? The 10-year yield. I mean, actually, that's following pretty much my yellow line that I drew a couple of weeks ago,
I see.
right? So do I? So here's that's why, as you said, right? Wednesday there's the federal meeting, right? Let's see, you know, maybe the market is pricing something in already. Could that be the case?
Some say are overpricing things in, but that's just their opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, could they be pricing something in already? And that's the reason why it went up a little bit today.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, listen, you know, in the crypto market, I just think it's a great time. My opinion, my personal opinion, is a good time to buy.
Yeah, a lot
Would
of
I
people.
back up the truck? Would I back up the truck yet? Probably not.
Yeah,
But if it
it
does
could
go
go
below,
more.
yeah. But if it does go closer to the 30s, I think that's when I'm going to reassess,
Yeah.
right? But will we stay there for as long as, you know? Will we have like a very extended bear market? I don't know, man. There's too much old money. There's too many, you know. There's too much Wall Street money, institutional money,
Mm-hmm.
and and if you look at, right, like MicroStrategy, right, what is their average price? Like approaching 30,000, just below average price purchase is a little bit below 30. Tesla was probably in that area as well, right? So you got a couple of big players that will just buy that. They'll see that as value and they'll just probably buy it. I mean, I don't know if you saw, I just tweeted someone took 4,000 just an hour ago. Someone removed 4,000 BTC off of Gemini.
Oh, hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's just not enough. I think there's more data that weighs towards the sense that something is going to be more bullish than there is in terms of crypto, right? Not macro, but there's more data weighted towards things being bullish than there is that there's not as much data on the bearish side of things from my perspective, at least from everything that I've been looking at. It just doesn't seem like there's a lot of confluence of information that's showing that the sentiment is really low, which actually is not bearish. Like when sentiment, like things are really bearish in terms of sentiment, it's actually bullish to me. So I'm seeing like all these really bearish calls and all these really like pessimistic points of view coming from everywhere. I'm like, this is the most pessimistic I have seen since like the
Mm-hmm.
2018 bear market crash, the
Yeah.
2018 blow off top. Like this is like the worst that I've seen it. And you know what the funny thing is? We're still at 40K, like
Right,
just about. So it's like,
right.
how could it be that we're in the depth of destruction and we're at 40K? Something doesn't add up.
Well, it's because, yeah, you did have a lot of people who were buying, at 50, 60, 64, 65,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's
But
true. It's true. Yeah.
but I mean, look at the RSI is still only at the weekly is still at 42, right? So, we'll have to see if we're going to break out of it. You see, because here's a trend. I
Yeah.
mean, let's see if we're going to break out of it. If we do break out of it, whew, I think that could be interesting. Because once again, we don't see that much dumping here. We really are not seeing any dumping. Look at that,
Right.
right?
It's like people are just holding strong,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
diamond handing, and
And when I look at the Unchain, I mean, look at this. Since April 14, just yeah, in the last couple of days, we didn't, we're just like up and down a little bit, up and down. Let's look at what the yeah. So even then, see, like even the funds have stopped from beginning of April, from the beginning of end of March. Remember we talked about this little bit of dumping here. They dumped maybe like 9,000 now 9,000 bitcoins or so,
mhm.
right? But now it seems to be flat, right? They seem to be keeping these positions open. Listen, some of this could be the tech selling. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised that this is because of the tech selling, right? Because look, it was after April 18 that's then they really stopped a little bit more.
Have you
And things
been
that
keeping a track of the earnings reports?
not closely these days.
I mean, I haven't been, but from a few comments here and there, I've heard that they weren't as bad as people expected them to be.
Yes, if you were to ask me like, are they more favorable or negative? I think they're a little bit more favorable than what people are hoping for. So I think that's good.
Yeah.
And the fund premium, yeah, right. Once again, the fund premium because of tech selling, it was, remember we were talking about this upwardly trend, took down a little bit, but now I think it's a little bit nicely slowing down. So, and hash rate, right? Hash rate seems to be a really good indicator, and that's been just consistently going up since the China ban, right? Putting in all-time highs. So,
So if you were to define the hash rate, what would you say?
I mean, the hash rate secures the network,
How is that
right?
correlated to price action or value or
I think people see, right? I mean, listen, miners only make money if the price of Bitcoin is strong, right? So I think there's a relationship there between the hash rate, which means that there's more miners coming on, right? Or they're working with better equipment, machines that have higher hash rates. So of course that will result in higher prices because at the end of the day you have to be able to pay your bills. Um, a lot of people will argue that the higher the hash rate, the more secure the network is, right? The security of the network. Um, so from what everything I've seen here, that's the hash rate says something, and you can see that, right? I mean, look at this. Look at the hash rate here when we went from when we had the China ban, right? When was this? Like last Q2, right? In April, we hit like almost 65,000 or so, right? We were in the 60s, 63 here, and all of a sudden, China ban comes, and then the price just dropped with the hash rate, and that's when all those miners got taken off the network, and then many of them moved to the U.S. Some went to Kazakhstan. I think it was Kazakhstan, U.S., a couple of other countries around the world. So
I see. So is there any news on Cardano on-chain analytics?
let's see. I mean, let's look at the usual, right? How about we
Because
just
there were some people, like we caught this the other day on our live stream,
yeah.
that we caught the other day that there was some sort of maybe some inaccuracies in the whale holdings, and
Yeah,
now
the
people are
numbers
starting to
in,
talk about it.
yeah, exactly. I saw that exactly. And I don't think Into the Block has said anything, right? They haven't come out. I haven't seen anything them responding yet. So, we'll give them a few more days, and if they don't respond, then I'm definitely gonna ping them. Yeah, I don't see any movement right now. We're still at that 26.8. We're at the 5.7 here.
Okay.
So that's that, right? But I think where we're a little bit where we started asking questions is here. Yeah, they haven't made any corrections, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
That still doesn't add up. 27, 4, 31, 47. Yeah. 60, 72, 71. Yeah, this doesn't add up. So let's hope
Yeah, so
they'll
it's not as reliable information as we expected it to be. So we'll probably have to not weigh as much on that if we're going to make any decisions. But
Now
I
the only
think
thing is, did we get a chance to do Bitcoin? Let's look at Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin should be 19 billion, right? 19 billion in coins in circulation. Yeah, that's so. What is that? That's 7.4. All right, so call that 8, 1, 12, 16, 12. Yeah, you see, this one makes sense. I'm going to say this one gets closer. This one's going to get closer to that 12, 19 million,
interesting.
the BTC,
Yeah. So hopefully Into the Block get back to us about that data, because it's important, because people are actually looking at that data and making decisions off of it.
right? Exactly.
So until we find out more, we'll have to just sort of be careful with how we look at that.
Right.
Uh, but overall, how are things going on the Cardano blockchain itself?
I think, I mean, I think it's,
Insights.
I think it should be okay. I mean,
Yeah.
you want to take a look?
Yeah, let's take a quick look at Insights Cardano, and I'll take a look on my screen here. Uh,
Yeah, let's do that.
So there's a few data points that I really like to look at, and of course, the main ones are going to be your total so you have your ADA wallets. That's always going up. That's good. You have your delegated wallets, total staked ADA. That's really flat, which is good. It's just really strong. Transaction data is always good to look at. You can see it's just going straight up. The blockchain is doing what it needs to be doing. You have transactions per day. And then TVL. That's something we should probably have looked at on DeFi Llama. But just from here, there is DeFi Llama TVL. Things have been sort of slowing down TVL wise, but I think it'll pick back up closer to Vassal hard fork. And when we start to see some of these protocols come back on, like I was talking about earlier, social seems like that's continuously going up subscribers wise. Subscribers per day slowing down, but it isn't sloping down in terms of the overall grand scheme of things. We have some other social metrics here. Price data, we already looked at that. Catalyst, they don't have anything fund 8. Oh, Catalyst. I know we're a little bit late in the live stream here. I should have said that earlier, but yes, I actually have a live stream tomorrow morning with a couple of my friends from Catalyst. We're going to talk about our proposals. But I actually, in the morning, I'm going to post. I have a list of all the Catalyst proposals that I'm voting for, And of course, one of them's mine, and also one of them's yours, Low Fuss. So that's going to be going out tomorrow. If you haven't voted, make sure you cast your votes. You have until May 5th, and we'll leave it at that.
A few more days,
A few more days. The
and
thing
then we'll
is,
find out this
you know,
week.
it's too late for people who haven't registered to vote. But if you're registered to vote, don't, I'm sure you already know about that, but don't forget about that. I think we're good on, okay, well, development per day, that's always a good thing. Good hub stats. Um, that number is just, that's beautiful curve right there. Um, that's pretty much it. I don't really have much more material to cover today. I could look at my chart, my BTC chart, and kind of, but we already kind of looked at these insights. My ADA BTC chart, that's one that I'm always looking at. We're really at a crucial point here for ADA versus BTC. If we don't turn around here this week, it could get a little ugly, but I mean, it could, yeah, things could get pretty bad if things don't, like, the next sort of support level would be way down here, and that's not going to be pretty at all. But if we do turn things around, we could potentially see, like I said, 300% gains versus BTC, which is even more in the sort of the USD realm. ADA versus ETH, pretty flat, I would say, over, this is the monthly chart, but it really hasn't gone really anywhere since it's pretty much pacing where it's been since its inception. It hasn't really gone up or down versus it peaked over here. Actually, that's a pretty significant peak. Actually, that's like a 5x right there. It's gone down since then back to where it started. But ADA is like an oscillator, so versus ETH. So if we start to see it come back up, we could potentially see it do a 5x versus Ethereum, where right now it would be considered a bottom. So if you've got Ethereum and you convert it to Cardano, then you could potentially see that value of what you put in go up 5x. That's how I look at things in terms of converting it. I think I won't go any further than that on the charts, but I'll stop sharing my screen now. And are there any announcements you want to make, Lofus?
Not at this point. I think I appreciate the fact that you'll be covering the catalyst process and the projects. I mean, I think that's fantastic, and it's always good to have that. On my project, all I can say is that I actually had a chance to connect with someone from the ecosystem who has a very interesting DIDS solution that they actually have been working on for Fund 8. We started having some conversations, and we'll continue. And if my hunch is correct, and then we will be able to collaborate successfully, then we may actually do something for Fund 9 as well.
Okay. Did you want to maybe talk about your proposal for a minute or two before we wrap up?
I haven't prepared anything, but what time are you guys talking tomorrow?
Oh, it's going to be a morning session, probably. I haven't confirmed it yet with them, but it is going to be on my list of proposals that I'm sharing tomorrow on my Twitter. And that gets a good amount. I mean, that gets some attention. So if you want, you can always just comment on it. If you want to write a little
Sure.
thing, that might be a
Yeah.
little easier because you can write it out. But I think that'll be it for today. So if you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. If you're on Twitter, follow us on Twitter at LowFussCrypto, at Mustafa Coin. And that's going to be it for today, guys. Until the next live stream, have a great day, great night, wherever you are, and we'll see you soon. Take care.